Good evening, Assalamu Alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host, Ahmed Nawaz. We've got the latest roundup of sports tonight, and we're going to be discussing a lot of things. Let's take a look at our lineup for tonight. We're of course going to be starting things off with the PSL, the Pakistan Super League 7th edition. We had a fantastic game. I think one cracker of a game for the PSL. Quetta Gladiators versus Multan Sultans. Multan inching the game by just 6 runs. The game went right down to the wire with that fantastic catch at the end. Otherwise, it would have been a 6. Naseem Shah did try his best. But credit to Multan Sultans, credit to Mohammad Rizwan, the way he muscled his troops. They have proven that they're still unbeaten in the tournament. You got to give credit to a lot of people here. Shan Masood, Imran Tahir, everybody that was involved with the game. Khushdil Shah especially. And, it really is a team effort that comes in, but the captaincy has been absolutely superb. Quetta, of course, on the other side, they would have wanted a victory. They had some solid partnerships in the middle, but unfortunately couldn't get on. I think the body language of the captain says it all. I've been advocating the fact that the body language of a captain in the field will set the tone for the entire team. So I think this is one area where Sarfaraz needs to prove himself better. He's looking frustrated. He's looking down and out. He's visibly aggressive. So nothing seems to be working so far. He's probably got to calm down, have faith in his team, and things probably would go according to plan. After that, we'll be discussing about the game that takes place tonight, and it is yet another big encounter. Multan Sultans will be facing Islamabad United. I think this is going to be the best match of the PSL so far, considering both are the toughest team on paper. They've got a good squad strength. Multan is unbeaten in the tournament. Islamabad United have just played one game. They've actually won that against Peshawar Zalmi. So it's going to be good action live at 7:30 p.m. from the National Stadium, Karachi. You can watch it all on PTV Sports HD in high definition. And like I say, that this is going to be a good contest because this is probably going to be the real contest which Multan will now get, considering the balance and the squad strength that Islamabad has. This is really going to be a clash of the titans. So we'll be discussing the two strongest teams on the PSL that face off tonight. After that, we'll be moving on to our second segment, and we will be discussing football. And in football, we will be discussing the transfer windows that have been taking place. And there's a lot of news, of course, when we talk about football. And we do know that deadline day, you can call it. Ericsson is back in the Premier League. You can talk about Van den Beek, who's gone to Everton. You can talk about the fact that, I know it's not a transfer, but Everton have also gotten their hands on Frank Lampard as their manager as well. So, a lot of things that need to be discussed. And Aubameyang has gone to Barcelona, and Kurowski and Bentancur are joining Tottenham Hotspur. So all the latest of transfer news and all that is there to talk on the Premier League. We'll be talking about that in the second segment. Time now to start our show off with our segment for cricket, and we'll be talking about the PSL in detail. First of all, I've been joined by our cricket expert. He's a commentator as well, and always great to have him on the show. These days he's rushing a bit because I understand he's a big celebrity now, isn't he? He's a very fantabulous K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Wa alaikum assalam, I'm good, and please could you please explain that what is fantabulous is?
Fantastic and fabulous at the same time. So, but you were rushing, I saw you. So
Yeah.
So you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Great to have you on the show as well. We've also been joined by Saeed Mohammad Awais, cricket expert, these days on every television channel that you can see, right?
No, not much than you.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you on the show. We've got a package on the victory that Multan Sultans achieved, but Quetta had a good fight in them as well. Let's take a look and then come back.
Multan Sultan sealed a 6-run victory after a nail-biting contest against the Quetta Gladiators.
You beauty! Heart and mouth!
After being invited to bat, the Sultans managed to hand Quetta a 175-run target in 20 overs for the loss of 4 wickets, but there were several hiccups along the way. Mohammad Rizwan fell for a rare second-ball duck after a miscue into the onside in the second over. Masood was leading the way in keeping the Sultans' boat afloat as further dismissals followed, scoring 88 runs before returning to the pavilion. Scoring 16 runs in the last over, Tim David and Khushdil Shah put up a good fight as well, finishing with a total of 174. Chasing 1 175, Khushdil Shah was superb in nailing the Gladiators down early with the ball. In a chase that saw a wild swing of the pendulum, David Willey was the star of the night, sending down 2 sensational death overs. In the epic final 5 overs of the contest, Iftikhar managed to put 3 sixes and a 4 in the 17th over, suddenly putting the Gladiators back in charge. However, this followed by further dismissals, and Gladiators needed 7 runs and 2 balls to win the game, with young Naseem on strike. But Tim David's brilliant catch ended the match, putting the Sultans on the top of the points table with 6 points to their name.
Right, there you have it. All you need to know about that scintillating encounter that took place last night between Multan and Quetta Gladiators. We'll, of course, discuss it further. K. Asif Ahmed, one exciting game, as we called it, that Multan will be victorious. There was a lot of people who were freaking out. I told them, just calm down. Multan has it. They will take it eventually. But overall, a good match for the PSL.
Yes, and the important thing is that the myth has been broken that you won the toss and you will be winning the game. It's not like that. It's all about your aptitude. It's all about that, the way you are playing, the way you are facing. And the hot potato is the Rizwan's captaincy. The way he started and he thought about out of the box, the way he delivered, it's been fabulous. And you were not even imagining that Khushdil Shah is bowling first over in anywhere in the innings. Even he never bowled in domestic cricket. So he came up with that plan, and the plan A was winning the toss, going for the bowling first. But if it's not working, you lost the toss, it does not mean that you are losing game. So I think that the people who always talking about that the PSL is going on one way, that winning the toss and winning the game, that's not like that. And the way Rizwan led his team, it's been phenomenal. And his decisions towards bowling, his decisions towards using his spinners, his decisions towards planning towards the fielding, I think each and everything was perfect and each and everything was working. And that's why last night we were discussing about Multan Sultans, that they were favorite, and still they are favorite for tonight's game as well.
Definitely they are favorite. Avais, what did you think about the game in general, and where do you think Quetta went wrong?
I personally feel so. I mean, like what we were discussing even off air. I mean, it's the issue about the captaincy, especially. I know. I mean, many of them might be against me because of Sarfraz Bhai, but I remember when even he was the captain of Pakistan team. You remember there was no many issues with his captaincy. There were issues with his batting. That's why he was dropped off. And yes, I know. I mean, there's issues even on the on-field. I remember in the previous match, if you just remember, not the 5-wicket haul, the previous match where Naseem Shah wanted a field changes and all that, Sarfraz Bhai wasn't in favour of it. Same thing happened yesterday when I was seeing it, so he wasn't in favour of getting the field changes over there. If you just compare, I don't want to criticize anyone, but if you just compare Sarfraz Bhai and Rizwan captaincy, there's a big difference. I mean, if you just watch out, when your bowlers were getting hit on Multan Sultan, Rizwan was calm that time. He was speaking to his bowlers, and that's the plus point where you give a positive thing to your fast bowler. Just keep him calm, because the whole burden is carried by your fast bowler when he's being hit. But I feel so they really batted well, Quetta Gladiators, but they are actually missing some good finishers in the batting order, what I was discussing off air with you, because Jason Roy would be joining them, James Vince is going to be joining them, Noor Ahmed, the guy who, I would say, one of the rising stars for Afghanistan, who belongs to under-19 Afghanistan, would be joining them. So they look a good side now for me, Quetta Gladiators. But they really need to worry about the captaincy. I would say that the Vivian Richard is there to cool them up. And you know what he provides to the Quetta Gladiators dugout, but it's that he really needs to speak to them.
Definitely.
Because Ben Duckett was going on brilliant for them, Quetta Gladiators. When they lost his wicket, the things started to shatter on.
Yeah, that's when Sarfraz should have played a role of a senior, I think. But K. Asif Ahmed, what's your advice to Sarfraz Ahmed right now? We understand that it's difficult, that you're a captain at one stage, you win the Champions Trophy against India, a final, you're the most loved man in the country, and suddenly, because of your batting form, you are now out of the system. At this point, when you're a senior player, you're looking at your career of how many years it will go on. I understand there are problems, but you should lead by example. What will be your advice to Sarfraz Ahmed at this stage?
This is the problem, that he's not leading from the examples. And I have advised him after 2019 World Cups, turn down from your captaincy. But of course, he's not following me. And this time, look, and the last night match, as Avais is saying that all the responsibility was, when the Ben Duck gone out, the responsibility was on Sarfraz's shoulders. What he did, He was not in that form to lead from the front and finish the game. They require finishes, but they have some finishers as Iftikhar Ahmed. He was in good form. He was in good touch. He banged in 1 hour David Willey, and it was great knock. But once again, either you have finished the game or not. And Sarfraz is facing some problems, not only with the captaincy but with his mental approach as well. And we talk about that the cricket is sleep cricket, talk cricket, eat cricket. This is what's happening with the Sarfraz, because off the field
he had a chance that where he was about to get run out twice, so that also proves that he's not there in the game.
You know what happened in Bangladesh when he was in the side and he was playing and scored 7 on 13 deliveries. We lost that match if Nawaz
did not hit that six. Yes.
So this is the time that to think seriously. Either Sarfraz, I think there is no more debate between Rizwan and Sarfraz. The debate has been ended, either from the Karachi side or from the Lahore. It has been ended now. And the good thing is that Rizwan is performing extraordinary, and there is no any other option after Rizwan. Yes, of course, Sarfraz. Now I think this is the last season for the Rizwan as well as Sarfraz as well for the captaincy. Because if he's not leading from the front, if he's not performing well, how could you tell your guys that do this and do this? And once again, Naseem Shah, the way Awais said that last night we were observing, Rizwan was cheering up with his guys, even in the pressure situation as well. But the Sarfraz was in immense pressure. And when you are leading your team...
It happened with James Faulkner, sorry to interrupt him,
yes.
when he was actually asking for the field setup.
You wouldn't let him do that.
Yeah.
That's the problem I'm saying, because, sorry for interrupting him.
No,
because see,
it's okay.
as a fast bowler, Ahmed Bhai, as a fast bowler, when obviously when you're leading your attack, that means the responsibility is being carried by you. I know where I'm bowling, and I have the right to speak to my captain that I need the field setup like this. And if you go against that, that means you are actually denting the confidence of a fast bowler. And when James Faulkner actually was, even I might be wrong, but I can say even the match changed on when James Faulkner unfortunately was run out by Sohail Tanveer, because he is basically uses that long handle, he can hit that big shots, but even that match changed for them. So that's why I said you actually don't have a good finisher in the Quetta Gladiators.
Well, I know it's about a finisher, but I really want to continue this debate. I like the fact that you mentioned that there is no competition or debate between Sarfaraz and Rizwan. One is right now in the national side, he's the vice captain of the test squad, and then of course captaining. He's a permanent choice as a first wicketkeeper, batsman and an opener. There is no place for Sarfaraz right now, let's be very honest. Who will tell him? It's himself who has to realize that, look, either I can continue my career playing domestic cricket and PSL, and if I'm needed for Pakistan, I go there, or if I continue like this, I will probably end up the same as Ahmed Shahzad, who's no longer there in any PSL franchise.
I think Sarfraz shouldn't be watching so-called cricket analysts, and they always keep telling him that you are still in the side, that you are
not cricket analysts. You have to be
I'm
very
saying
honest.
So-called.
The Karachi lobby. Let's be very honest right now.
So-called cricket analysts, they keep telling him that Rizwan, you are the best still. Sorry, Sarfraz, you are the best. Look, now there's the mindset where you come up, and if you see that the Quetta Gladiators, as Awais mentioned, that now their mentor is there, the Sir Vivian Richard is there. So I think that he must think about it, and he must tell him that, look, Sarfraz, you played enough cricket, you served a lot. Once again, there's a question mark apart from Champions Trophy of against India. We should be looking at what happened in ODI especially and in Test cricket. So there's a question mark. I'm still leaving this on Sarfraz.
But like he said, that he needs to understand he was dropped because of his batting form. There was nothing wrong with many others.
This is what I'm telling that, but the cricket analysts are telling that why you have dropped, because you're from Karachi. So this is the situation there.
One thing, I mean, because see, one thing, Ahmed Bhai, even I know, because even I have been on the part of the TV shows. I mean, the real problem is that when the Pakistan Super League started on, the debate started Sarfraz versus Rizwan, Sarfraz versus Rizwan. I personally feel so that after Rizwan, if you have a second command wicketkeeper, actually still, if in the Pakistan Super League, if you just watch out, you're still struggling to find a second command wicketkeeper. And if you have got a good command wicketkeeper who can bat, who can use a long handle, that means Sarfraz's job would be in trouble, believe me.
And one last comment. If you have, after Ali Shwaz there, if you see then that is number 2 after Rizwan. That is number 2 Rizwan. That is number 3 Rizwan. Even number 10. There is no choice after Rizwan. So I think that it's better now. It's close the debate, and the debate is only that how Sarfraz would leave Quetta Gladiators.
Okay, Asif is in pure lethal mode tonight, but we'll try to be, we can try to discuss this as further. But the fact is that Multan Sultans has beaten Quetta Gladiators. Phenomenal victory indeed. Let's take a look at our segment recap. We of course discussed the fact that it was a tremendous knock by Shan Masood that helped Quetta Gladiators to lose. Obviously, Multan was the one who ended up victorious. Sultans are now leading the points table. They're of course on top of the table. But very quickly, gentlemen, tonight it's Islamabad versus Multan. Your calls and your predictions for tonight. Awais.
For me, the way Multan Sultan has been performing well, but it would be Multan. But one thing, Ahmed bhai, you know that the think tank of Islamabad United, they're doing a good job.
Pick one.
Pick one, Lahore Qalandar.
K. Asif Ahmed, tonight.
You know, from day one, I'm with Multan Sultan. Though I'm with this statement that the way brains are working behind the Islamabad United, I appreciate them. But Multan
Well, we've got a wonderful competition tonight because I'm going to be supporting Islamabad United tonight. Both my guests are for Multan Sultans, Awais and K. Asif. Let's see how the match progresses. 7:30, you can catch all the action on PTV Sports HD, but it'll be a good, interesting competition. I think that our city, Islamabad, might just give Multan a shocker of the PSL. So let's just watch that game when it goes on live at 7:30 on PTV Sports HD. Time now to discuss something about the Under-19 World Cup. We've got a report on that. Let's take a look and then come back.
Pakistan Under-19 registered a comfortable 6-wicket victory over Bangladesh Under-19 and sealed a place in the 5th place playoff match against Sri Lanka at the 2022 Under-19 World Cup. Batting first, Bangladesh set a target of 175 runs after being dismissed in 49.2 overs. Ariful Islam hit 5 fours and 4 sixes in his 100 of 119 balls. Ariful was the majority contributor in 2 half-century stands, first with opener Iftikhar Hussain and then with Dripon Mondol, before left-arm spinner Mumtaz took 3 for 16, while seam bowler Awais finished with 3 for 52 to bowl Bangladesh out for 175. In reply, Pakistan completed the chase of 176 runs with a 76-run opening stand between Hasibullah Khan and Mohammad Shehzad setting the base for it. After the first wicket fell, Irfan Khan scored 23 and Abdul Fasih made useful contributions, remaining unbeaten on 22 as Pakistan sealed their win with 21 balls to spare.
Right, that's all the action that you need to know about the Under-19 World Cup. And of course, disappointing that Pakistan couldn't make it any further. They lost the quarterfinals to Australia, but they won against Bangladesh for the 5th position match. If you talk about the current scenario, Afghanistan is bowling right now. England Under-19 won the toss and opted to bat first. And of course, then we've got the other semi-final where we will have India Under-19 also in action as well, who probably look like the clear favourites who might clinch it, but they've got a tough Australian Under-19 side that they need to battle to reach that final as well. K. Asif Ahmed, your thoughts about the Under-19 World Cup? I know you've been waiting for this moment.
Yes, of course, I will talk about what was happening with the coaching staff, and Ramiz Raja always talks about accountability. So this is the test case for Ramiz Raja. Either he is making this test case or not. So the accountability should be taken by the coaching staff. They are taking millions of rupees from Pakistan Cricket Board, and according to the sources that their off-field activities should be monitored. What was happening there? And before the match, according to the sources, there was before the match they discussed that we'll be batting first against Australia, and they had 2 hours meeting. But suddenly, when they came up in the morning, they've decided to bowl first. Now, if Ijaz Ahmed told the team that we'll be bowling first, and there's slight chance for that would be batting first. But the entire night you discussed that we'll be batting first, and suddenly you have changed each and everything. So the mindset of the players, they all night they've been thinking that we'll be batting first, and suddenly each and everything has been changed. Who was behind that? Of course, Ijaz Ahmed. And could you please tell me that what happened with the Pakistan under-19 team in Asia Cup? We have lost final against Sri Lanka, and we were not able to chase 148. So what was the mindset behind that we are chasing? We're not good in chasing. So I strongly demand the PCB, the chairman of the PCB, he should ask for the accountability, should ask for the details that what happened there and who is the responsible, who's the culprit. If Ramiz Raja is not doing things, then each and everything is an eyewash.
Well, Avais, we thought maybe the Asia Cup was just one instance, but it again happened. Now, what do you think is going on with the under-19 structure right now?
See, Ahmed Bhai, if you just watch this under-19, especially in the captaincy of Qasim Akram, I remember when they lost the Asia Cup, unfortunately, the performance was good, I would say. You have got a good fast bowling pace battery coming up for Pakistan. Batsmen are good, I would say, especially that one down, two down batsman. He's a left-handed batsman, a slowish batsman, but knows how to build a proper innings. The real problem, I mean, you know, we have been discussing, this is one of the debates which actually does not get over. It's about investing in under-19 cricketers. How many tours do you have for the under-19s? I mean, just to recall me, I guess hardly one tour in a year.
Yeah.
And that also, sometimes you get a tour that the guys are being actually groomed for the under-19, what Australia
But
is
you have a
doing
very extensive program in Pakistan where you're always picking overage players.
Yes,
So what more do you want? Under 16, under 13, under 19? You always have players who are probably as close to my age going into these structures.
so you're telling that you're under 19, right?
No, I truly I believe K. Asif can still play under 16 cricket. I'm telling you this. You know,
No.
he looks as young as ever.
No, look, I'm giving you an example. What happened last year, a player, Mehran Mumtaz, who was the player of the tournament in our domestic structure in regional under 19, and he was not the part of Pakistan under 19 camp even. I'm giving you this story, that he was not in the 30 players. So then where is the merit?
We had a focus to win the World Cup. That just tells us all
Yes,
what was going
yes.
on.
And you know that according to the sources, even Ijaz Ahmed was yelling over the players during the match that a player, if he could, how could he handle the pressure? They're playing under 19, they're just 19 years of age, they're under 19 of age, and you're yelling in the ground during the match.
Ijaz Ahmed is an illustrious career himself.
No,
You remember that, right?
And that's why I keep asking for the accountability, and I'll keep knocking the door of Ramiz Raja. Sir, you would have to do something special. And if you want to save Pakistan's cricket, you'd have to keep really hard steps.
Otherwise, hunger strike for K. Asif.
Not hunger strike. Yeah, if you're sitting with me.
Well, I can barely go a day, but you know, I think he's right, because this is the grassroots level where you talk about that we will produce talent for Pakistan's senior cricket team. So if you don't have accountability here, I truly stand with Asif on this one, then you might as well close this structure and just have, you know, talent hunt programs and fast track the
Ahmed,
process,
if you just
because this will
remember-
not happen. Awais, please comment, and also the fact that who's the next favorite now, because I truly want Afghanistan under 19 to win the World Cup.
They have played good cricket, I mean, because they have got good, especially this bowling battery, I would say. The pace was there. They have got that Noor Ahmed, who's a mystery spinner again for Afghanistan. I see him after Rashid Khan. He's obviously going to dent the world cricket, the way he has been performing. Afghanistan are doing a good job, but Australia is one of the favorites because, you know,
Not even India.
Not even India. You know why? Because if you just watch this Australian team, the captain is actually playing for the Big Bash League. I mean, he's got that experience of it. The fast bowlers of them, I just forgot his name. He's even playing for Big Bash, so they have got that vast experience.
They've got
of
the experience,
proper
right?
Cricket.
K. Asif Ahmed, which team do you see now making headway into the World Cup?
Of course, India and Australia, they will be playing final. I'm sure that.
But
You
they're
want to
playing a
watch-
semi-final.
Yes, they're playing semi-final, and for me, India is favorite. You know, and I want to see, of course, the second team, Afghanistan, because they are neighbors. But for me, India looks like they're going to.
Yeah, looks like the favorite,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
But gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us on the show. Always great having both of you. Time now for our segment recap of this segment. We, of course, discussed the Under-19 World Cup in detail. We talked about Pakistan beating Bangladesh by 6 wickets. They're going to be playing now for the 5th place playoff. Unfortunate that they lost the quarterfinals to Australia Under-19. Afghanistan Under-19 is facing England Under-19 in a semi-final. England are batting first. Obviously, they won the toss, and Australia Under-19 will face India Under-19 for the second semi-final. The tournament would go on, and we will see who is crowned the champion of Under-19 cricket. On that note, we'll go towards a short break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Extra. Time now for our segment on football. In studios, we've been joined by my co-host, football expert, football youth coach, and a very dear brother these days, my partner in all the humor stuff that we find on social media, Sabeel Hazir. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum Assalam, Ahmed. I'm doing very well. Your social media game is very strong indeed.
But great to have you on the show as well. We'll be discussing a lot about football. What are we discussing? What are the things to focus on? We've got a report. Let's take a look and then come back.
After a thrilling summer window which saw the two greatest players of the modern era both move clubs, the January window has been rather more sedate. Deadline day is over and the January transfer window has slammed shut. All 20 Premier League clubs have been busy doing deals to various degrees throughout the month. Liverpool's owners got their wallets out and spent £50 million on Luis Diaz from Porto. Meanwhile, Manchester United want-away Donny van de Beek got his wish, joining Everton until the end of the season, becoming new manager Frank Lampard's first signing. The transfer of Dele Alli from Spurs followed late on deadline day, a player that the manager can really bring the best out of. There were some major moves from Newcastle, as £90 million were spent on England defender Kieran Trippier, which was an eye-catching move, while the acquisition of Chris Wood from Burnley not only improved Newcastle, but also weakened their relegation rivals. Aston Villa also stole the spotlight for a time under Steven Gerrard, bringing Felipe Coutinho back to English football and picking up left-back Lucas Digne in one of the window's truest signings. Spurs eventually settled for Juventus duo Dejan Kulusevski and Rodrigo Bentancur. Kulusevski and Bentancur are solid signings who can guide Spurs to a top 4 finish. Central midfielder Ndombele has left Spurs to join former club Lyon until the end of the season in a pay loan. Christian Eriksen also made a fantastic return by joining Brentford only 7 months after suffering cardiac arrest for Denmark at Euro 2020. The window opened with Barcelona signing Ferran Torres from Manchester City, and they finished it by wrapping up a deal for Adama Traore. They also signed Aubameyang on a free transfer from Arsenal. The Gunners missed out on a move for striker Dusan Vlahovic, who picked Juventus in a £63 million move. Premier League clubs spent £295 million in the January transfer window, making this year's window spend the second highest since 2003.
There you have it, all the latest news of the transfers and every club who has got their hands on players that they feel fit into their squads, and obviously players who have moved elsewhere as well. But first of all, Sabeel, Newcastle have probably bagged gold.
Yeah, 100%. They've been very busy. We spoke about this when the consortium takeover was happening. You and I spoke and we're like, look, January they'll bring in a few players, maybe in a few world-class players, and in the summer look to really rebuild the
buying
squad.
power now.
Yeah, they have buying power. And what's scary is right now you're just seeing the start, because right now they just need to buy a few players to help them out, because they're obviously in a relegation battle. They need emergency players to come in. But what signings they've made, I think Trippier is a player, when he left for Atletico Madrid, I don't think there was enough respect put on his name, let's say. I think people should have been a lot more like, wow, they've let him go and go to Atletico. And obviously he was pivotal to that side, winning the league title with them, and he's been an incredible footballer for them, and he's a very technical player. So bringing him back to the Premier League, you and I were talking about off camera how we'd love to see him back in the Prem. So that's going to be great. And having the best English talent, or having the best German talent in Bundesliga, having the best English talent in England, that's kind of ideally what the national setups would like as well, so they can see more of them interact with each other. So brilliant signings by them. I think they've taken a lot of the burden off Saint Maximin as well with the attacking signings they've made. So I think Newcastle have done some great business. Now it's about getting them all to work together and save you from relegation, so the real Premier League rebuild can happen in the summer.
But like you mentioned that they've got the buying power, and now for starters, the job right now, or the focus right now, is to just get through the Premier League. Once this is done, you could probably expect big things from them in the next season.
Definitely. I think Chris Wood is also a stopgap player. I think he's here for now to get maybe a few more goals, help, like I said, take that pressure off Saint Maximin. But definitely in the summer, there's a big rebuild coming. A lot of those players are bottom half Premier League players, no doubt. They deserve to be in the Prem. But Newcastle aren't going to want to be bottom half anymore. They want to be top 10. They want to maybe in 5 years be top 6. In 15 years, maybe challenge for the league, maybe even less, with the amount of money they spend. So they're definitely looking at certain players they've brought in now. For them, money's not an issue anymore. They've brought these guys in. Okay, we spent 25 million in the summer. We'll spend another 60, another 70, and bring in a world-class striker, a world-class centre midfielder. So big things. I think if Newcastle stay in the Prem, you can expect big things from them.
Well, we're discussing other things as well, but let's be honest, the only reason why I've got Arsenal on my mind is because Aubameyang has now left and gone to Barcelona. Otherwise, nothing for Arsenal this season.
Definitely, and they've missed out, as was mentioned in that brilliant package, that they've missed out on Vlahovic. He's gone to
Juventus, yes.
He obviously made the right decision, I think, for his career, because they definitely need goals, and they've let Kulusevski go as well. So they're looking to bring in players, attacking players. They've let their club captain, and obviously there were a lot of issues going on with him behind the scenes. We spoke about that as well when it was happening. He's gone now. You've got Lacazette. Yeah, he's playing really well. You're Martinelli stepping up. You have players like that, but you didn't get your top transfer. You didn't get anybody really. You've exited 2 cups. You've scored like 1 goal all month. Like, it's been a terrible January for Arsenal. If I was a fan, I would be furious right now at the way they've conducted.
At least show intent.
Yeah, show intent, and you've let Aubameyang go. And then obviously, then we got to talk about Barcelona. What is with Barcelona buying 30-plus-year-old players when they need young players coming in? This is the issue. You keep buying old players. They've got the
Might as well get their manager playing.
Well, he'd probably do a better job. And considering De Jong's form, they might as well get him playing. Like, it's Barcelona. Look, I think a Traore is a great signing and Torres is a great signing. But essentially what you've got is a Middlesbrough front two in the form of Braithwaite and Traore up front, although he's injured, Braithwaite at the moment. Ferran Torres, great player. But then you've got Busquets with 2, albeit one-day kids, but still kids in midfield. And you've got still PK playing because Garcia is not ready to step up to the first team. A lot of problems in Barcelona right now. And signing Aubameyang, I do not think is the solution to any of them.
Well, that answers a lot of question what they're thinking for the future. So I think that really sets the tone, not just for Arsenal, but for Barcelona. And I think poor Aubameyang, he's got same fortunes everywhere he's going. So he doesn't have much to him as well. But moving on to the big signings I want to talk about, let's just talk about Spurs for once. They looked like they wanted certain players who fit into their system, and they really went after them.
Yeah, so they've got in a Swedish midfielder. They've got in players, but then we need to talk about the players they let go. They've let go of Dele Alli, which I think has been a long time coming. I don't think Spurs fans would have liked to see that. They would have loved to see him take off and blossom into the player we all hoped he'd become. But they've had to let him go, and I'm sure we'll talk about Everton later. But in terms of Spurs, also let go of Ndombele. So they've clearly let go of a lot of players in midfield. Obviously, with players like Skip stepping up and this boy they've just brought in, it doesn't seem like it'll be much of a problem. Let's see how they line up in the next few weeks. Let's see under how long it takes players to settle as well. But I think the best thing they've done is lightening some of that load of very high, not even high profile, but people are taking a lot off the wage bill. Get them out, bring in some younger players who will take high wages, no doubt, but they're not taking what those boys were. I'm sure. I don't know the exact details of their contract, but I assume they won't.
But it'll get there. But social media has been a buzz about this. I think more than the players that they've bagged, it's all been about the manager that they've able to score, and it's all about Everton and Frank Lampard right now.
So definitely, Frank Lampard back in the driver's seat. It's nice to see. Let's hope this one works out. I think it's a much better club. Look, when we spoke about him coming to Chelsea, we were like, oh, this is great to see him back at Chelsea, but we hope it's not too soon. And it seemed like perhaps it was a little bit too soon. This is the right kind of club for him. It's a tough spot to come in, no doubt, because of Everton's form. Like, they're in atrocious form. But they've brought him in with his... I think they've brought in the right 2 midfielders. Because with Alan covering the back 4, if you get Van de Beek, who was so happy to see leave United. I know you're a United fan, but obviously he was not getting game time or the respect he deserves it. To see him get in there.
But for Everton's sake, that's a huge signing.
With him and Ali in midfield in front of Alan, I think that's great.
And for Lampard, who understands the style of play that Van der Beek needs and the support he needs, it's going to be amazing.
Definitely. So that's how I think they're going to line up with those 3 midfielders. I think they'll push Richarlison out to one of the wings, Gray on the other wing, and Calvert-Lewin. And those 2 new midfielders are going to get up and help support Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison get those goals. Obviously, Gray will also play a supporting role. And they've got the right manager. Like Lampard with young players, nobody can doubt that Mount and all these guys coming through, they owe a great deal to the faith put in them by Frank Lampard. And I'm sure he'll do the same. And Ali, if he's to rejuvenate his career, has the right manager, I think, to do it.
By the way, did you see that video of Jurgen Klopp and a young manager going against each other in a Premier League game?
Sorry, no, I'm not.
I'm gonna. That's the next thing I'm saying.
You have to send me more social media content. We've discussed.
Well, that should have been gold content, where where Lampard is saying to Klopp that you've only won
I remember that actually. No, I
that you've only
remember
won
that.
one league title and you've got the nerves to come at me. So I think that kind of aggression going into the game, and like Sabeel mentions, Everton's the right club for Lampard to manage right now. Being that, but I don't know. There are certain clubs, Sabeel, and I think you'll agree as well, who we truly believe have the potential to make it to the top 6. Newcastle, one of them, and I don't know, but I even feel Everton's got so much to them as well.
Everton has been a team that for the last decade or so, there's been always potential there. I said this actually at the start of this season when I was like, Everton always has potential and they always underperform. Like, that's just what they do. Doesn't matter who the managers are, who the players are. They always have a good mix of mid to upper mid-tier players and always a decent or good manager in charge, and they still somehow seem to bottle it at some stage. But hopefully with the players they've brought in, Frank Lampard coming in, right now it's about obviously securing this season, as getting as far from the relegation zone as possible, staying as high up as you can, and then next season building an exciting squad that can actually deliver on the promise Everton has always shown. And then Newcastle, again, avoid relegation within maybe a decade, be challenging for top 4 places. That should be the goal for Newcastle United.
Well, certain news headlines have been making headway, and one of them says Arsenal, Spurs, and West Ham always chance, but Lingard might be the biggest loss in January.
Definitely, I didn't even. With all the stuff that's gone on, I forgot all about that. Lingard, I think, definitely would have wanted to move away.
Yeah.
Whatever's happened there, I don't know if they're talking about Newcastle, that got rejected. I think he was quite frustrated in that. There's a lot of rumours coming out, like Asif Bhai always says, my sources. There's some discontent.
Well, you have international sources. He's got fantabulous sources.
But I'm sure his are more reliable. But when you talk about, like, this is kind of the issue. Why not just go for West Ham? Was he after money that he wanted to go to Newcastle instead of West Ham? I'm sure West Ham would have welcomed him back. I don't think there was an issue there. So that's a whole very confusing subject.
Definitely.
But he's definitely lost out, and West Ham have lost out as well.
Definitely. Sabeel Hafsaj, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure having you on the show. On that note, let's take a look at our segment recap. We, of course, discussed the Premier League in detail, and we discussed the fact about all of these transfers that have been making headway. And, of course, we talk about the deadline day as well, but the second highest transfer window since a couple of years has been witnessed. So it's been exciting, at the same time disappointing for certain clubs as well. Now, that's all we have time for this edition of Sports Extra. We'll catch you tomorrow. From me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.